Running is a simple sport, requiring minimal equipment. Just lace up your trainers and head out the door. But one element often overlooked is the surface we run on. For years, conventional wisdom held that harder surfaces, like concrete, were tougher on the body. Runners often sought out softer options like grass or dirt trails, believing they offered a more forgiving landing and reduced the risk of injury. This belief seemed intuitive. Harder surfaces, with less give, would naturally transmit greater impact forces to the body. Softer surfaces, on the other hand, were thought to absorb some of that shock, cushioning our joints and reducing the stress on muscles, tendons, and ligaments. This traditional view led many runners to structure their training around surface selection. Long runs and recovery runs were often relegated to softer surfaces, while speed work and tempo runs, where impact forces were thought to be less of a concern, were deemed acceptable on harder surfaces. The underlying assumption was clear: softer meant safer. But recent research challenges this long-held belief, suggesting that the relationship between running surface and injury risk may be more complex than we initially thought. Emerging research suggests that softer surfaces, while seemingly gentler, might actually increase the risk of certain running injuries. This counterintuitive finding has sent shockwaves through the running community, forcing a re-evaluation of what we thought we knew about running surfaces. The crux of this new understanding lies in the concept of leg stiffness. Studies have shown that runners exhibit greater leg stiffness when running on softer surfaces compared to harder ones. This increased stiffness, while seemingly beneficial for efficiency, may come at a cost, potentially increasing the stress placed on bones, muscles, and tendons. But why would our legs stiffen up on softer surfaces? The answer lies in our body's innate ability to adapt to its environment. When running on a soft surface, our legs sink in slightly, creating a less stable platform. To compensate for this lack of support and maintain forward momentum, our muscles subconsciously tense up, leading to increased stiffness. This new perspective challenges the traditional view of softer surfaces as inherently safer. While they may feel easier on our joints in the short term, the long-term consequences of increased leg stiffness could outweigh these immediate benefits. To understand the link between running surfaces, leg stiffness, and injury risk, it's crucial to understand how our bodies adapt to different terrains. Running is, in essence, a series of controlled impacts. With each stride, our legs absorb shock and then propel us forward. The stiffness of our legs plays a crucial role in this process. Think of your legs like springs. A stiffer spring will compress less upon impact, returning more energy and potentially increasing efficiency. However, this increased stiffness also means that more force is transmitted through the spring itself. In the context of running, this translates to greater stress on bones, muscles, and tendons. On harder surfaces, our legs can rely on the ground's firmness for support. This allows our muscles to relax slightly, resulting in a less stiff, more compliant leg. This reduced stiffness helps dissipate impact forces more effectively, potentially reducing the risk of certain injuries. Softer surfaces, however, provide less support. Our bodies, sensing this instability, compensate by increasing leg stiffness. This helps us maintain balance and generate power, but it also means that our legs are absorbing and transmitting more force with each stride. Scientific evidence studies on leg stiffness and running surfaces. The link between running surface and leg stiffness is not just a theoretical concept. Several studies have investigated this relationship, providing compelling evidence to support this emerging understanding. One such study, published in the Journal of Biomechanics, found that runners significantly decreased their leg stiffness when transitioning from a soft to a hard surface. The study participants, all experienced runners, ran on both a treadmill and a soft sandy surface while researchers measured their leg stiffness using motion capture technology. The results were striking. Runners decreased their leg stiffness by over 25% when switching from the soft surface to the treadmill. This finding suggests that our bodies are highly attuned to the firmness of the running surface and adjust leg stiffness accordingly. Other studies have explored the impact of different surfaces on tibial shock, which is the impact force experienced by the shin bone. These studies have generally found that softer surfaces, while seemingly more forgiving, can actually lead to higher tibial shock values. This again points to the role of increased leg stiffness in transmitting more force through the body on softer surfaces. The injury equation connecting leg stiffness to running-related injuries. While the link between running surface, leg stiffness, and impact forces is becoming clearer, The ultimate question for runners is how this translates to injury risk. While more research is needed, the emerging evidence suggests that increased leg stiffness on softer surfaces could contribute to certain types of running injuries. One theory is that the repetitive high-impact forces associated with increased leg stiffness on softer surfaces could overload tissues, leading to overuse injuries. For example, runners who primarily train on soft surfaces might be at increased risk for stress fractures, Achilles tendinitis, or plantar fasciitis. Furthermore, the altered biomechanics associated with increased leg stiffness could place additional stress on joints, potentially contributing to conditions like runner's knee or hip pain. The body thrives on variability, and consistently training in a way that promotes increased leg stiffness could limit our ability to adapt to different demands. It's important to note that this is still an evolving area of research. Injury causation is complex, and attributing injuries solely to running surface is overly simplistic. Factors such as training volume, intensity, footwear, running form, and individual biomechanics all play a role.